love the game. I love the hustle, man.
So I'm going to get into this first topic real quick, man. We're going to talk about the Kings, the Sacramento Kings. You guys know that is our home base team on this channel. And, I'm excited, man. A couple of weeks ago, we made a video about talking about JaVale McGee being added to the team. And I was really interested to see his mentality, what he was going to say during media day. Right. So on media day, he made a couple good points, man. I'm glad we have this dude on our team. And this is why I wanted him on our team, because of the very points that he made at media day, basically saying that he's going to be a positive addition to this team and he's going to help us win. The theme of media day, I don't know if you guys saw the interviews during on Monday, but the theme was winning, culture, a lot of things that Mike Brown was talking about, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, even new additions like McGee, Sasha. Everybody's talking about winning, right? And I love that because it's been so long since we've had that culture here in Sacramento. But some of the things that JaVale McGee was talking about that he's going to bring to the team is his confidence. He says he's a shot blocker. I'm 7 foot, athletic, agile veteran. I'm a 3-time champ. I'm an Olympic gold medalist, and I know how to win. I love that, man. I love the confidence. First of all, I love that resume being added to our team this year. We need it. We need guys who know how to win, who've been around winning cultures, been in winning locker rooms on this team, right? And that's what he said. He said, I know how to win. And one of the things that he said that I really liked was he has a history of bringing the teams together, when he said that, what I was thinking was locker room, keeping the morale up. If there's issues, maybe he's kind of the guy that kind of brings people together, as far as talking it out, working it out, maybe being like the liaison between coaching staff and players. Sometimes there's a lot of miscommunication between coaching staff and players about minutes. Why am I not playing? Or why did you take me out? Or, and guys just kind of just stick to themselves. Maybe he's used to kind of being around. He's been in the league for a long time. So I feel like he can definitely, when he said that, I was like, I like that, because we need that in the locker. We need good locker room guys. And not saying we don't already, because we do, but the fact that he's a winner and he's been around winning teams, like he said, being a 3-time champ, an Olympian, things like that, he knows what it looks like to win. And kind of going off, bouncing off of that, Mike Brown, some of the things that he said is, he wants to go from a good to a great team. Now, what does that look like when you think of good to a great team? Last year, we were good, right? Last year, the Kings were good. Won 48 games, got to the playoffs, went 7 games with the previous year's NBA champs. But what does good to great mean? When I think about that, I'm thinking about taking a jump, right? Building on what you already established the previous season. Now, the thing about it is we had a really good season, right? We had a really good season. We had 2 All-Stars. We made the playoffs, which is something that we haven't done either of in years, a very, very long time. 16 seasons, I believe we had the longest drought of missing the playoffs here in the city in Sacramento for the Sacramento Kings. So I think it's safe to say, anybody could say, got a gnat in here. It's safe to say that we were a good team, right? But how do you go from good to being great? In my mind, when I think about that, I'm thinking consistency. But number one, I'm thinking defense, right? The Kings have never had a problem, even when they were bad, the previous season to last seasons beyond that. The Kings have never had issues scoring. They've never had issues scoring the ball. They have had issues defending the interior, and the perimeter defense hasn't been great either, but our interior defense was horrid, was terrible. And just buying in consistently to defense, right? I feel like that's what's going to help us take that next leap. That's how you go from good to great, is buying in on the defensive end. again, we're going to be able to score with the best of them. Like, I don't think there's any team in the league that I can think of right now that I'm scared of when it comes to like, oh man, like they're going to outscore us. Like, no, like when you look top to bottom, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. When you look top to bottom, we have one of the deepest rosters in the league when it comes to scoring. And I don't even think that's arguable. Like, we have one of the deepest rosters in the league. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but defensively, man. And I know that's something Mike Brown wanted to focus on last year. And I remember this quote, I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically saying how he knows that he wants us to be a better defensive team, but he really couldn't focus on that last season. He was basically saying, let's lock in and focus on what we're good at, which is playing fast and scoring the ball, right? He said, and we'll work on defense throughout the season, and we'll continue to improve on that as the seasons progress, and we kind of stack up these seasons with him being our head coach. So I remember him saying that. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but I do remember that. And I think this is, with this being year 2 for Mike Brown, the focus is really going to be to improve defensively. It has to be, especially when, you kind of get that first taste of getting to the playoffs with this roster, having Steph Curry score 50 on you to close the series out. The emphasis has to be on the defensive end. So I feel like that's how you go from being good to great. He also said, we want to see if we can play faster. So that was a quote that I wrote down that was interesting to me. He said he wants to see if we can play faster. That, I don't know how he plans on doing that because the Kings play really, really fast last season. We were getting up and down that floor. We weren't, really in our half court offense too long. We wanted to score quickly, run quickly, move quickly, get off our screens and picks quickly, things like that. So the Kings were already a really, really fast team. He says he wants to play faster. I'm really interested to see what that's going to look like. He said everybody needs to be all in. And then he says something after that. He says they're ready to compete for a championship. Y'all, this culture has changed so much in the last 2 seasons. Like, I can't think of another team that's taking this leap of, what's the word? I guess confidence in who they are, what they've done, and what they plan to do. That word championship was thrown around a lot on Monday. Getting better, making deep runs, like talking about just winning culture. Like, you kind of heard that. Even Sasha, they were asking Sasha Vezenkov about some things, and he was just talking about how when they were practicing and getting their scrimmages and things like that, how he's like, they could play with their eyes closed. He was like, they know the system, they're so locked in to what they do and what they've been doing. He's like, we have to catch up. And when he said he's talking about the new guys, the Sashas, the McGees, Duarte, Jalen Noel, we just brought him into training camp, things like that. So he's talking about we have to play catch up because he's like, they're on it. And I love to hear that, man, like, because it lets me know that we have a system. It lets me know that we already have a system in play, that we're going to come in, and it lets me know that they know who they are as a team, as a coaching staff, as players. I love what I was hearing on Monday, man, from this team. Mike Brown talking about he wants to compete for a championship. I was like, whoa, like, for him to say that, it was like, it gave me a lot of excitement. I'm not gonna lie. I was already excited about this team coming into the season, but just looking at the roster, looking at the additions, and listening to what all the players were saying on Monday really let me know, like, oh yeah, like the narrative is changing in the city.